of 83. Scotty Scheffler won the PGA tournament by 8 strokes. The Dallas Cowboys signed linebacker Vaughn Miller. Jamal Adams of Minnesota is out for the year.
Live from the heart of SEC country, this is your daily fix of grit, guts, and gridiron glory. Welcome to the Deep South College Football Show.
Bowen, here he goes! Georgia retakes the lead!
Breaking down the biggest matchups, the boldest takes, and the deepest rivalries in college football on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
Intercepted! They confused him! Xavier Brown headed the other way! Touchdown Tide!
From Fayetteville to Gainesville, from the Grove to Toomer's Corner, it's SEC football.
Chambers delivers! Touchdown!
Now, here's your award-winning host, Wyatt Fulton.
Welcome into another edition of the Deep South College Football Show right here on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC, your home for Alabama Crimson Tide sports. Whitman is the future of the University of Alabama. Too bright? You got to wear the shades inside?
Only if I wasn't graduating in a year. Sorry, I just thought I'd pull off that move that you tried at Media Days. For
I don't know
about
what you're talking about.
8 minutes.
Yeah, 8 minutes prior to going on the air. Never tried it while we were on the air there in Tampa, Florida. But no, welcome into another edition of the Deep South College Football Show. We got a fun show for you guys today here. We're going to talk a little intel around the University of Alabama, as we heard from offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb just a couple of moments ago there at the Malmore Athletic Complex, where he mentioned, hey, we might be starting to get a little close to a quarterback decision here. As Alabama's got their second scrimmage of fall camp upcoming this Thursday, we will be covering as much as we can. Obviously, media is not going to be allowed at the scrimmage, but we should be able to talk with, or not should, we will talk with head coach Kalen DeBoer following that second scrimmage there on Thursday afternoon. We're going to talk quarterback battles from around the SEC as we are approaching week one. We're what? Whitman, help me out here, because I posted 19 days away.
We are 19 days away from Alabama football.
19 days away from the first Saturday of the full college football season, Saturday of week one. We're a little bit less than that from week 0. And obviously, like Missouri is going to play on Thursday night. So a couple of SEC teams, or a couple of teams are going to get, rocking and rolling maybe a little bit earlier than, Alabama's going to. But regardless here, 19 days away from the first Saturday of week one, the first full slate of college football games on Labor Day weekend.
12 days from Dublin.
12 days from Dublin. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one.
Ooh.
In Dublin, Ireland there. But we're going to go over some quarterback battles within the SEC today. Also talk a couple of injury updates as Alabama had a couple of guys down. We saw Latsier Brooks back at practice this morning, but no A.K. Deer this morning at the Malmore Athletic Complex. Tennessee's had a couple of guys go down due to injury, not to mention Tennessee's also going through a quarterback battle. So we'll talk a little bit about some teams from around the SEC. And we're also going to go over Whitman's college football playoff version 1.0 prediction.
I appreciate that. You started going through the table of contents of today's show, and I'm like, no playoffs, no playoffs, no playoffs. What the hell?
I gotta throw you a bone every once in a while.
Somebody's got to keep me happy.
Somebody's got to. But now we'll go over Whitman's college football playoff version 1.0 predictions. Graphic may not look the best because I didn't get these until I was on my way to football practice this morning. So it was a very hectic.
Fair enough.
Trying to put this graphic together. So I do apologize if it is not, up to the standard, or if it just, looks like every other graphic does.
As do I, because about 5 minutes after you texted me this morning, by the way, you remember I took my truck to the shop last week?
Yes.
Did not fix a single problem. So she's back there today.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so you texted me. I woke up, saw your text, put together a super quick 1.0 playoff, and had to head over to Tuscaloosa Ford to hopefully get this hunk of junk on 4 pieces of rubber ready for my school year.
This is how quick Whitman put this together. He didn't have a G6 rep in version 1.0. So I had to text him and be like, hey, big dog, you got to have one. I understand, maybe we don't like the G6 in the college football playoff, but one's got to make it.
No,
Somebody's
I will say,
be there.
I thought about that this morning on my own. I was thinking about that when you were like, hey, no G6. I thought to myself, how dumb is it that we have to sacrifice a playoff spot, take away what could have been Notre Dame or Texas last year, maybe a deserving 10-2 Vanderbilt team, and James Madison here. Go drop a Duke on national TV in front of everybody
James Madison.
In Oregon.
Tulane got that bid.
James got in too.
The ACC just decided, hey, you know what? We're going to have a cluster blank word on a sheet of paper, and we're going to let Duke win this conference. And, okay, James Madison, you're now in the college football playoff.
This is why the University of Virginia cannot have nice things. All they had to do was beat Duke. They'd have been in the playoff. This is University of Virginia football we're talking about, and two good things cannot happen consecutively. So.
Apparently not for Virginia football. But we'll go ahead and we'll jump out of the phone lines here to start the program. 205-342-9904. Sorry if I'm a little hectic right now. I'm trying to post the gallery. I'm trying to get, quotes from Ryan Grubb. I was trying to finish the graphics and take screenshots of all the tweets that we're going to talk about today. So a little bit all over the place, but that's why we do what we love to do. Let's jump out of the phone lines, though. 205-342-9904. Let's talk with our buddy Pat here in Tuscaloosa. Pat, how you doing?
Hey, man, thoroughly enjoyed the last Saturday. That was fantastic. I tell you what, hey, that defensive line looks absolutely phenomenal, up close and personal. How you say on the hoof? Wow. But it's so much bigger than what it was. If we can't stop the run with these guys, we're in trouble. What do you think?
You're absolutely right. They've gotten much bigger since or compared to last season, right? Because last season Alabama, and Kane Womack mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Last season Alabama was 15th or 6th or 14th or 15th in the SEC in terms of just size along the defensive line. That's height, weight, and arm size. This year, they're inside the top 5. So, yes, you saw Alabama get bullied in the run game in certain games last season. You saw them struggle against, Florida State in the run game. You saw them really struggle against Georgia to stop the run in both those matchups with the Bulldogs. They really struggled. I mean, they got their butts handed to them by Indiana out in Pasadena. So they clearly knew. It's like Bama basketball, right? They knew, hey, we've got to get bigger. We've got to get faster. We've got to get stronger. So let's figure out how we can go and do that. And they were able to do that with the defensive line, with the additions of Terrence Green, Kedrick Bingley-Jones, Devin Tompkins, and not to mention the fact that you've got, your guys, the guys that stayed on this roster, whether that be Jeremiah Beeman or London Simmons or Isaiah Faga. Those guys were able to get a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger and a little bit more lean, right? Because yes, we want big defensive linemen, but you don't want defensive linemen with a lot of, body fat percentage right out there. So the fact that they were able to add lean mass and, kind of shape up and tone up a little bit while still maintaining that level of strength that they want, I think this is probably, I would say has a really good chance of being one of Alabama's best defensive lines in a couple of seasons.
Well, what it's going to do, it's going to make this secondary on paper is perhaps the finest secondary in the SEC and more than likely in the country. And I think it's going to give them an opportunity to shine because this front seven looks way, way stronger than what they were last year. It's just, visually looking at, of course, they look like Tarzan and play like Jane. You've heard that before. Good Lord. But I'm excited about this group. I really am. And the offensive line, and then when they're going up against what I think is going to be a very good top 4 or 5 defensive front in the Southeastern Conference, that it may mean that our offensive line is not as bad as what they looked in scrimmage.
And that is a question that, when you do scrimmage, that's a double-edged sword, right? Hey, the defensive line looked really freaking good. Okay, is the defensive line that good, or is the offensive line that bad? And so that's kind of that internal battle that you've got when you're scrimmaging, and one side looks just so dominant compared to the other. But no, I think this defensive line is going to be really, really good. I think they're going to take a lot of people by surprise this season based on what Alabama's done on the defensive line the last couple of years. I don't know that it's not going to be 2016 with Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne and all those guys, but I don't think they're going to get pushed around quite at the I don't think they're going to get pushed around this season. I think they're going to be able to hold their own in SEC play. And if you're able to stop the run with 4, that puts you in a very, very good situation when you look at the second level defenders, whether that be, Caleb Woodson or Luke Metz or QB Reese, or is it Yanze Pierre coming off the edge? And then especially in the pass rush, when you've got Yanze off one edge, Devin Tompkins off the other with big Terrence Green in the middle, you're able to drop those linebackers and still get pressure with 4. Now you've got quarterbacks that have 2 seconds to throw. And, oh, by the way, there's 8 guys in coverage now.
Yeah. But what I did see is that this tight end room on the oh my Lord, this tight end room looks absolutely special. You hear me?
They look really, really good from what we've heard. They look really, really good.
Yeah. So I'm excited about this group that I'm in there. I got pork chops with a brown sugar bourbon glaze, cooking with cabbage and yellow squash steaming down. What I'm having for supper. I'm in the middle of doing it now.
That sounds pretty good, man.
I'm looking forward to this dinner. Yeah, man. Hey, you have a blessed day, sir. Thank you much.
You too, Pat. That's Pat in Tuscaloosa joining us via the phone lines right there. We'll go ahead and take our first time out a little early, kind of stay on track of things here, because we do a very good job of getting behind on these breaks. We'll go ahead and take our first time out a little bit early here. When we come back, Whitman, be prepared to defend your takes here, because we're going to take a look at your college football playoff bracket here in the next segment on Side 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
It's easy and it's free. Go to mylocalcustomers.com today.
That's mylocalcustomers.com. Mylocalcustomers.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Extreme heat warning in place through 9 p.m. tonight. Sunny skies at 101. Heat index values around 110. A slight chance for afternoon and early evening showers or storms. Partly cloudy, warm and muggy tonight, low 77. Scorching dry conditions with bright sunshine Tuesday and Wednesday. 99 tomorrow, near 100 at midweek. Sizzling highs around 100 on Thursday. Richard Wedding of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media Tuscaloosa.
It's 99 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Breaking news, bold opinions, and pure Crimson Tide spirit. Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
Welcome back into the Deep South College Football Show. We're taking a look here at Whitman Clark's College Football Playoff version 1.0 predictions here. We'll start with just the plain bracket. So you've got Ohio State, Georgia, Notre Dame, and Texas as your top 4 seeds.
Now, who are you kidding? That looks great. Or is it the second, third, and fourth stage of this thing that we need to worry about?
It's probably the second, third, and fourth stage that we need to worry about a little bit. But I noticed 2 SEC teams here inside the top 4. That means that obviously one of them is the conference champion. You've got Georgia ahead of Texas, so clearly you think it's Georgia. I think you put that on your ballot as well in Tampa.
As I did. I just think right now
you've got Georgia and Texas. I mean, they both basically have to be undefeated going into Atlanta for them to both be top 4 seeds, and only one of them's a conference champion.
I will be predicting Texas to beat Ohio State in week 2, despite Ohio State being number 1 overall. I think that Ohio State can lose that game, come out, go 11-1 outside of that, beat Michigan, beat Indiana, handle their business, and probably come back and take the number 1 overall spot because of Julian Sayin, Jeremiah Smith, and did I mention multi-time Super Bowl champion winning defensive coordinator Matt Patricia still calling that defense. As for Georgia at number 2, with or without a loss to Alabama, they will be in Atlanta. That's what the SEC championship is. It's the Georgia Open. It has been now for some time. I think they're going to win that game. I think they're going to beat Texas to do it. I think Texas has the firepower to beat everyone in the SEC. They will probably lose an SEC game given how hard that schedule is. Is it Oklahoma and Dallas? Is it LSU? Is it Ole Miss? Is it Texas A&M? We don't know. I think they will drop one of those games, as well as the SEC championship game. However, I think this is the year that Texas finally looks like the team that is deserving of a ranking too high. As for Notre Dame, they could go 11-1. They'll still be the number 3 seed, I think. They could. Now, 12-0 probably keeps them in the top 3. 12-0 certainly keeps them in the top 3, rather. I think maybe they lose a close one to Miami. As long as they beat the brakes off of everybody else, including BYU, they can find themselves in the top 3, especially with CJ Carr. The committee likes Notre Dame. I really don't think they enjoyed keeping them out last year. I find Notre Dame at number 3.
Notre Dame sitting at 3 here, Miami at 5. So even though they may have lost a close one to Miami, you've got Notre Dame ahead of the Hurricanes.
A little bit right now. Yeah, I think Miami's probably due for a conference slip-up. I think Notre Dame will be playing better football at the end of the year. They always play really good football in November into December under Marcus Freeman. Well, I would assume they would have played good football in December last year, but we don't know. Screw
they
you,
did.
Notre Dame.
They did.
That was so soft. That was Charmin freaking soft.
They did say, all right, we're out. We're not playing in this bowl game.
They were playing good football in November, though, and I think the committee will see that. Now, that game is late, and I'm really happy this is 1.0, not final hit send to the boss. That may flip. But right now, Notre Dame and Miami are pretty much going to be a coin flip as far as the game itself goes going into November.
I do like some of these matchups, though. You've got some fun matchups here with Texas Tech and Oklahoma. The Sooners hitting the road in that 8-9 game after hosting it last season. Oklahoma's got to go to Lubbock. Indiana's got to go to Provo, Utah, which is I have no idea if those two have ever played. But I do know that 6 and 11 have never played. Alabama and Oregon have never played each other in the history of this incredible sport that we call college football. And you're sending the Crimson Tide to Eugene, Oregon in December.
And I am really, really not happy with the decision that I made. It's for the results of that game, but whatever.
Well, let's go ahead and move to that next phase here. The quarterfinals of the college football playoff. Miami handles their business against Boise State. Oklahoma would pull off the upset in Lubbock, just because Lubbock, you'll get 3 points for being the home team. If Texas Tech's the 8 seed, obviously they are a good team, but Oklahoma upsetting Texas Tech there. Oregon defeating Alabama, and Indiana, I don't know if that's an upset or not, but we're just going to say Indiana beating BYU to go play them dogs.
No, there are a couple here that I see that are not upsets, even though the ranking would tell you otherwise. Oklahoma beating Texas Tech would not be an upset. I think even if that game's in Lubbock, Oklahoma's more than 3 points better. So it wouldn't surprise me if Oklahoma's a 9 seed in that game favored in Lubbock. BYU and Indiana certainly would be a favorite over BYU. I think even traveling out to Utah, they would get it done. And then Oregon would be favored over Alabama. Certainly, they'll probably get the job done if Bama's got to go all the way across the country. And then Miami.
That might be a splattering.
Yeah, I just don't see a world where Keelan keeps up with Dante Moore and what could be his final ever college game. Everyone that he plays in the playoffs will be his last. Then Miami, Boise really needs no breakdown.
Yeah, we need no breakdown on Miami and Boise State there. But your quarterfinal matchups here, Miami going to play Texas, Oklahoma and Ohio State, Oregon and Notre Dame, Georgia and Indiana. I don't know how many of these are new matchups. Like obviously Miami, Texas, I don't know that we've seen that very often, if at all. I know Oklahoma and Ohio State played back in 2015, 2016, because I remember Baker Mayfield planting that flag in the middle of that big O in Columbus, Ohio. Oregon and Notre Dame, two historic franchises that don't seem to match up very often. And then kind of the new bloods of college football. Georgia after their back-to-back run a couple of seasons ago, and Indiana after the undefeated national championship last year.
The second half of that Georgia-Indiana game, after Cignetti and Kirby get their chance to make adjustments, may be the best 30 minutes of football from the sideline that we've ever seen. Have ever seen. That
game, looking at Georgia and Indiana, it feels like both Kurt Cignetti and Kirby Smart have picked up the biggest rock that they can hold in one hand and are about to just beat the tar out of each other for the final 30 minutes of that football game.
I mean, in terms of coaching ranks today, this would be like if Tom Osborne played against or coached against Bobby Bowden in 1998.
I don't hate that.
In terms of what these two have done, in terms of active coaches, now that Saban's gone, these are kind of the de facto 1 and 2, unless you think Ryan Day probably deservingly gets that 2 spot. But this is 1 and 2 right now in my eyes. The play on the field of this game, this game will not be who loses. It's going to be who goes out and wins, because there will not be many mistakes from either of these ball clubs.
No mistakes at all from Georgia or Indiana in that matchup there. I'm excited about that one. That would be a fun matchup. And again, the ones like there's no conference affiliations with these bowl games, right? So the teams are going to pick. So I think we said last Friday that Sugar and Orange are the
semifinals.
Sugar and Orange are the semifinals. So everything else is going to be quarterfinals. Ohio State,
Rose Cotton Peach Fiesta.
Ohio State, we know they're going to go out to the Rose Bowl, which means we get Oklahoma back in the Rose Bowl, which leaves Georgia sitting there with the Peach Bowl just falling in their lap yet again.
Wonder where Texas would want to play.
Texas doesn't get to choose. Notre Dame does. Now, Texas may still end up with, the Cotton Bowl falling in their lap, depending on what Notre Dame decides. But
so Notre Dame's
got to decide between Cotton and Fiesta.
Which may be a risky choice going out to the West Coast if you're Notre Dame and you've got
Pacific
Oregon.
Northwest is still pretty far up there, I would think.
It is. Oh, my God. Oh, it is. It is a long way. Hell, San Diego and Los Angeles are like 3.5, 4 hours apart.
Without traffic, it's still 2 hours.
Yeah. So
let's move on to the semifinals here. Semifinal pick, you've got Texas taking on Ohio State in a rematch of a semifinal game a couple of seasons ago, and Notre Dame and Georgia.
Quarterfinal rematch from the same playoff.
Quarterfinal rematch there from quarterfinal rematch for Notre Dame, Georgia, semifinal rematch for Texas and Ohio State, regular season rematch for Texas and Ohio State there. I would assume, again, Ohio State gets to pick. I would assume they're not going to say, let's risk playing Texas in New Orleans. We're going to send everybody down to Miami, which means that Notre Dame and Georgia get to go play in New Orleans.
Yep.
In a rematch of the same bowl game that Notre Dame spanked Georgia in 2 years ago.
Let this be known. This may be the most hate-watched semifinal of all time. You've got top 3 most hated in Texas, top 3 most hated in Ohio State, top 3 most hated in Notre Dame, and the best team in the most hated conference on planet Earth. I mean, if you ask somebody in Ann Arbor, Michigan, what they hope happens during these semifinals, they're probably hoping for that to be like
a meteor,
like the first day that America and all of our best friends around the world just hit nuclear war button, and we don't have to watch Texas or Ohio State win, and we don't have to watch Notre Dame play for a national championship, or they can avoid the chance of SEC rumbling through New Orleans with Georgia wins.
Even though it is a rematch of the regular season, I still would be really excited to watch that Texas and Ohio State game
100%.
Because I'm anticipating that game being maybe a little more high scoring than what last year's was.
Very much.
And then you get both these teams hitting their stride. It could be a lot of fun. This is interesting, though. You've got all 4 teams with a bye advancing to the semifinals.
You are exactly right, and that is the first
when they
time
are
I've
1-7. When they are 1-7 in quarterfinal games over the last 2 years. Small sample size, yes, but
I also did give Cignetti a loss with almost 2 weeks of preparation. Odd, but it could happen. I gave Miami I gave Miami and their offensive line 10 days to get healthy, and they'll still lose. Yeah, top 4 seeds. I mean, it's got to happen at some point. I figure after 2 years, these coaches, helping each other out. This worked for me. This worked for me. This will be Georgia's 3rd straight year with a bye. At some point, Kirby's going to have to get over that bye week hump. Ohio State's just better than Oklahoma. And quite frankly, Texas-Miami would be a great game. But you mentioned Texas-Ohio State. I have an opinion that I'd like to share. Everybody, and I'm all for it, Oregon-Alabama, that's a great game to watch. I would kill to watch Oklahoma-Texas Tech. However, I think that games in which teams have already played each other once that year are very, very underrated because they think, okay, well, we've already seen this. Oklahoma-Alabama last year, classic. Georgia-Alabama was a tail whipping, but that felt like kind of a one-off. Both teams just kind of walked into that thing backwards. Georgia just backpedaled a little quicker through that than Alabama, and hit them with their butt while they were running towards them a couple times. There are several
Go ahead.
I mean, I think the idea of rematches, especially when you get into the playoff, add just an entire new layer to a game that something like Oregon, Texas Tech last year, while the talent on paper is phenomenal, it just misses a little revenge, a little, I know you, but you know me a little better that you get in those Alabama-Oklahoma style games, the Georgia-Alabama style games, or what could be Texas-Ohio State style game.
Your national championship game being played in Las Vegas, Nevada. The SEC is going to bring home a natty this year. Texas and Georgia.
I did not realize
rematch of the SEC title game.
I did not realize I was all SEC until I got to the championship game. So no, I'm not spilling propaganda. I didn't give you my champion, did I?
You did.
Okay, I did. Who is it?
You did. That would be Kirby Smart and them Dogs down in Athens.
It's a good pick. Returning veteran starter, returning world-beating head coach, both of his coordinators, a lot of his offensive line, his best defenders came back. Maybe they upgraded in the wide receiver room. All of their running backs came back. Lot moving in the right direction for Georgia.
There is. I am worried about that wide receiver room, but I mean, I think in my prediction, I had Georgia in the national championship, losing to Miami. So the ball is shaped funny, it bounces weird, and we score in 3s and 6s and 1s. So at some point, maybe somebody just gets a little bit of a lucky bounce, a lucky draw there in this football game. But regardless, you've got the SEC chant will be very, very loud should it be Texas and Georgia in Las Vegas for a rematch of the SEC championship. And what a run both these teams would be on, right? Texas defeating Miami, who was the national champion runner-up a season ago. They were a lot of people's predictions to win the national championship this upcoming season, defeating Ohio State, a team that I think you said it. You probably are going to pick Ohio State to win that game in the regular season. So getting revenge from that first matchup in week 2.
Oh, no, I'm all over Texas in week 2.
Oh, okay. Well, then
they're going to beat them. They're going to beat them twice.
Oh, okay.
Arch is going to come out and like, hey, everybody, shut up. Like this is what I can do in week 2, and it's going to get so much better throughout the year that he may hang 30 on Ohio State.
Damn. Wow.
Throwing to Cam Coleman, handing off to those running backs. Oh, Cam Coleman is somehow covered. The running backs somehow don't have a lane to run through. Oh, hey, is that you, Ryan Wingo, over there? Oh, here, go. Have fun.
Yeah, here, take this pass. And then obviously Texas Texas falling to Georgia yet again in the rematch for the national championship. Georgia taking down Curt Cignetti, the reigning national champion, Notre Dame, who played for the national championship 2 seasons ago. And then Kirby Smart continues to just lay it on the table whenever he's playing against, or whenever he's coaching against Steve Sarkisian.
Georgia wins the national title. Does Kirby hang the hat up?
I don't think so. I don't think Kirby hangs the visor. If they win the national title, I don't know that
the visor. The visor.
I don't know that the visor gets hung up yet. I think it would start to move him a little more in that direction, though, because 3 national championships, no other active head coach would have 3. He would break his tie with Dabo for 2. I mean, I don't know. Could be a lot of fun. We'll go ahead and take our next time out here. And on the other side, we'll go ahead and talk about SEC quarterback competitions, as we've got several of them.
An adult entree purchase. Plus, check out the new Big Game Headquarters menu featuring the affordable All-Stars. The Hillcrest Huddle at Bomb Hours, Tuesdays on Tide 100.9 FM.
Yes! Roll Tide all the time. This is Tide 100.9 and 12:30 AM WTBC. The home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
We're talking quarterback competitions from around the SEC, and we'll take our first stop to Tuscaloosa, as we heard from offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb a little bit earlier today, as Alabama finished their first scrimmage of fall camp on Thursday. They practiced Sunday morning and then practiced again this morning. Quote Ryan Grubb, "We're close. We're getting close to game week, so I would say by next week they'll have to make that call." End quote Ryan Grubb, provided there by Mike Rodak of 247 Sports. Whitman, the longer this goes, the more I feel like it's Keelan Russell. And I know we've hounded this. We've beaten this dead horse with a stick, and like the horse is bruised and dead at the same time now.
No,
we've beaten it so much.
Big old fat horse, he's coughing up blood, asking us to stop. But we're going to keep going until we get a starter. So right now, I'm thinking if they keep dragging it out, are they giving Keelan every chance to win the job, but he's just not doing it? Or are they giving Austin every single possible opportunity to hold on to it? And he just, because regardless of what you think, this goes for anybody, while coaches, parents, aunts, uncles, they don't have favorites, they have preferreds. Now, if you're not your parents' preferred child, or if you don't know if you are, that's probably because you aren't, and I hate to have to break that news to you. To my younger sister, if you're listening, I am the preferred. It's that simple. That's just kind of how it works. Coaches are the same way. They have preferred season opening starters in baseball. They have their preferred guy who they'd like to stick at point guard to bring the ball up. They've got their preferred quarterback. Kalen DeBoer silently, or if it's between him and Ryan Grubb, if it's between him, Grubb, and the quarterback coach, they've all got somebody that they say, all right, I'd feel a little better if he was the best. Like, if he performed better, I'd like that to be the case. It's either Austin Mack or Keelan Russell that one of these coaches is favoring slightly more. This is dragging on and on and on. There's obviously been no separation. Is it Keelan can't win the job despite the opportunities we're giving him, or is it Austin can't hold on to it despite giving him every single rep possible?
And I do think that is an interesting point here. And the way I look at this, and I could be dead wrong. I'm very often wrong. Very often wrong. But the way I look at this battle here is you've got a fourth-year guy who has only ever been in this offensive system. It's not like he was at, Tennessee learning the veer and shoot offense, and then he comes to Alabama and he's got to learn a brand new offense. It's not like he was at, it's not like he's at, Georgia where he's on a run-heavy team, and now he's coming to Alabama and they're trying to throw the ball all over the yard. He has been in the same offensive system for 4 years now. Maybe even was learning it prior to that because he was a commit to Washington under Kalen DeBoer, probably was starting to learn a little bit of the offense, and then he redshirted that freshman season, transferred in, and we know the story from there.
So 4.5.
So we'll say 4.5 years that Austin Mack has learned this system, has known this system. And you've got a freshman, technically redshirt freshman, but because of the new 5-for-5 ruling, he's classified as a sophomore. Kid played in 2 games last year is what I'm trying to say. You've got a guy that uber talented, but maybe doesn't know the playbook quite as well, or doesn't know like all the inner workings of the playbook quite as well. And the 4-year guy's not running away with this. Like if this is really and truly no separation, if I were a coach, and I'm not, but if I were a coach, I feel like it would probably be, okay, yes, the floor is about the same with these guys. That's one of the big takeaways I've had from fall camp so far, is that the floor is pretty similar between Austin Mack and Keelan Russell. So who gives you the higher ceiling?
If the floor is equal, the answer could not be more clear. Because I think the longer this competition goes, the more likely it is that Keelan Russell's named the starting quarterback. And Ryan Fowler on Thursday and Friday following the scrimmage started to say on this radio station, hey, Keelan's starting to separate a little bit. Yeah. I mean, that's been my process of thought ever since April or May now, is if 4 years can't get you separation, 3 weeks in fall camp isn't going to do it. And everybody's argument for Austin Mack this year has been the floor, manage the offense, win, get us through games. We don't need you to go win because we're good. We just need you to not lose us football games. If the floor is comparable, I'm sorry, Austin. The ceiling, you can't even see the ceiling. The ceiling has reached like the height limit. When you're playing Minecraft, you can't build any higher. Like, there is no room here. You're going to run into the sun if you try to build that ceiling any higher. What I'd like to know is the general perception of the fans, because it's even 50-50 from what I've heard. And quarterback battles are never 50-50 between fan bases, ever. Like, was Jalen and Tua 50-50 in 2018?
Oh, my God. That might have been the nastiest quarterback battle I've seen.
That was close.
I wasn't even covering it at the time.
That was close.
But that might have been the nastiest quarterback battle I've ever seen. People taking shots at Jalen, people taking shots at Tua.
Yep.
I mean, it was ugly when those two were competing, like after that national championship. Now, Tua coming in, okay, yeah, he's a 5-star, he's a freshman, he makes the wow plays, but Jalen's the consistent guy, Jalen's the starter. And then as you move through that season, you start to see some of the struggles of Jalen Hurts remain the way that they were. And so you're starting to hear all this positive buzz from Tua. And hell, Tua played in like 9 games that year in the regular season because Alabama was just belt to backside on every single opponent that they played that year. We're starting to see these two quarterbacks in that season between Jalen and Tua. Like Tua came in and the offense had that extra gear. They had more life. Now Jalen was a little more consistent though, but that next year, spring, summer, fall, that quarterback battle, that was nasty.
Yep.
And it was nasty up until Tua walked out with the first team offense in Florida against Louisville. But I don't know. I still lean Keelan Russell to win this quarterback job.
So to tie back to why I asked that, if we were to take a vote, like if we are electing quarterbacks the same way that we elect senators in Alabama, everybody go to the poll tomorrow. Auburn fans, stay away because you will try to vote for Jet Tamala to be the starter. And while he's pretty good, we can't have that happen. So if you wear blue and orange, don't go vote tomorrow. Everybody else in the state of Alabama goes and votes. The winner of the election is named the starting quarterback. Who do you think that would be?
I think it would be Keelan Russell.
Because that's why I mentioned, like, this is as close as I've ever seen one, and they're never 50-50. Every comment section I open, Mac, Russell, Mac, Russell.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
It's damn near as close as it can possibly get between these two. But my projection is still Keelan Russell.
Me as well.
Simon, I saw you in the back corner there. If you're still hanging out, what's your projection?
I said earlier, I think a couple weeks ago on the game with Ryan Fowler, I said that it's this close. I think it's going to be Austin Mack. And okay. I still think it's that close, but my thinking has changed to Keelan Russell. Because I kind of what you said, I think if Austin Mack hasn't been able to separate himself through, as you said, 4 years and now 3 weeks of fall camp, then, at this point it has to be Keelan Russell because the ceiling is so high. Because you're saying that the floor is pretty even. You got to. If
the floor is 9 wins for both, that's the floor for both. We'll say.
But I think it dragging out this long.
11-1.
I think it dragging out this long is more so a favor to Austin Mack for sticking with Kalen DeBoer and this system and this team and his coaching staff for so long.
I like the different thought process
and
there.
I think they're saying you bet on us. We're going to keep betting on you to prove us that you can start.
We'll take our last break here for our radio listeners, and on the other side, we'll kind of speed run some of these other quarterbacks.
Broken hip, that rock climb where you lost your grip.
To learn more about Jernavix, ask your doctor. Call 1-833-589-PAIN or visit jernavix.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Extreme heat warning in place through 9 p.m. tonight. Sunny skies at 101. Heat index values around 110. A slight chance for afternoon and early evening showers or storms. Partly cloudy, warm and muggy tonight, low 77. Scorching dry conditions with bright sunshine Tuesday and Wednesday. 99 tomorrow, near 100 at midweek. Sizzling highs around 100 on Thursday. Richard Wedding of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 100 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Stay locked in, Tide fans. This is Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
Welcome back to the Deep South College Football Show. Got about 4 minutes here on the program, so let's go ahead and jump into some more of these quarterback competitions here. We'll head down to Gainesville, Florida next. John Summerall said earlier today, I like a lot of what both have done. Neither one is light years ahead of the other. They're both doing really good things. The one thing they both have to continue to work on is who's going to operate best at the line of scrimmage in terms of shifts, motions, play calling and things like that at the line of scrimmage. And Whitman, it's interesting because I kind of just handed this battle to Aaron Philo, knowing that he came in with Buster Faulkner from Georgia Tech, but it seems like Jones has done a really, really good job of working his way back into this battle. And I think even John Summerall said in the spring, Philo was probably pretty far ahead because of that familiarity on offense.
Yeah, and something stuck out to me. Neither one is light years ahead of the other. I may be looking too far into this. That means one of them's got a relatively good sized lead over another. Because if it were neck and neck, I feel like he'd kind of say that. Said neither one is light years ahead of the other, which implies to me that there is no start and I don't care what you do, you're going to start the next week. But there is something between the two of them. It's just maybe not a light year. But it is not the width of a quarter between these two guys.
Right. And thinking about it, okay, well, if he said Philo had a pretty good sized lead in spring, but no one's light years ahead of the other, it still feels like Aaron Philo's probably got that lead in that battle. And if Florida had to play a game on August the 18th, tomorrow, that Aaron Philo is probably getting that starting nod.
Well, here's my guess. Tramel Jones, a little more mobile, a little more of a runner than Aaron Philo, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
A little more of that dual threat ability.
So if I had to assume, if Tramel Jones has made ground, it's been through the air. Maybe Aaron Philo kind of plateaus somewhere as a pocket passer, doesn't add the 3D style of game that quarterbacks give you with their legs. Maybe like Tramel Jones can do, and if he can add to the arm what he's got with the legs, then this probably is a very close battle.
I think I'm going to still stick with Philo for my prediction here for the Gators' first game starting quarterback here. We'll head next to Knoxville, Tennessee. Josh Pate talked about this battle here last night on his program, and he said, quote, "You can continue to hear more buzz about Faison Brandon. Not sitting here saying he's the runaway favorite. It's just the guy that Josh Pate is heavily leaning toward. I think that's a lot. There's a lot of people who follow Tennessee that are leaning towards him. This, again, seems like the kind of the same marching orders that we got out of spring ball, right? Faison Brandon has done a really, really good job of coming in and learning this offense fairly quickly. George McIntyre's got a little bit more experience. And again, this Tennessee battle kind of feels a little bit like Alabama's battle, right? You've got a guy who's been in the system, knows the system. You've got someone coming in that maybe is a little bit more electric, but doesn't quite have the system down to the same level that maybe a George McIntyre did or an Austin Mack did.
Who would have thought that the biggest true freshman quarterback out of the SEC, out of the state of Tennessee this year, would not be playing for the Vanderbilt Commodores? I'm under the impression he is a true freshman, correct?
He is. He is a true freshman.
Josh Heupel's not really on the hottest of seats this year. I mean,
he could get hot at the end of the year, but as of right now, correct. He is not on one of the hotter seats.
But here's my thought process. If he's not like Shane Beamer levels of, okay, you're going to get fired, just keep that bag ready. Push out that true freshman. Do what you can to kind of tamper expectations. Hey, we're not going to win a national championship this year. You won't say that, but make sure everybody kind of knows we're sticking the true freshman out there this year, because Faison Brandon has the potential to be the best Tennessee quarterback since Hendon Hooker. Can be better than Nico, can be better than Joey Aguilar in his second and third year. Go ahead and let him get eaten up this year. Let him take those hits. Let his body get bigger, stronger. Let him see what it's like.
Let him learn about the SEC.
So that way his sophomore year, he comes in, he's ready to go. He's ready to go. He has that leg up on Jared Curtis because he's probably right now a little bit bigger and, quite frankly, better than Jared Curtis. So
adds that extra level to his game.
Roll with the young kid, and I'm just hoping he's still not ready to play Alabama in the third Saturday. But maybe after that, going into next year, they've got a guy.
We go from Knoxville to Nashville next here. Pete Nako says former five-star recruit Jared Curtis impressed in Saturday's scrimmage. Clark Lee told On3, Jared probably had his best day start to finish, which is really positive. He is adapting to college football. Between Jared and Blaze, I'm kind of along that same wavelength, right? Clark Lee not on a hot seat. Let Jared get out there, experience the SEC, learn what it takes to go play SEC football, and throw him out there, understand, hey, we're probably not going to go 10-2 again this season, but next year when you've got all that experience under your belt and some of these teams got to come to Nashville rather than we go on the road to them, I think it puts Jared Curtis in a really good spot heading into 2027.
Roll with him. Let the young kid go out there. I mean, they paid all this money to go take him from Georgia. Let him play against Georgia.
This is true. This one is courtesy of Connor Goodson of 247 Sports here. As the stupid caption's in the way here. Connor Goodson of 247 Sports here. Nobody's ahead of one another right now in Fayetteville, Arkansas, but A.J. Hill and K.J. Jackson have done some really good things. Decision-making just seems to be kind of the battle there in Fayetteville. with new head coach Ryan Silverfield.
137 snaps in scrimmage, man. Daggone.
Alabama had 100.
That's a lot of football.
That's a lot of snaps.
Them Hogs.
Again,
them Hogs was tired after practice.
Oh, 100%. That's courtesy of Connor Goodson, 247 Sports here. Simon, what you got?
I feel like decision-making being the deciding factor, what both quarterbacks need to work on, is probably not the best thing to hear from your head coach.
Probably not, but that'll do it for us today on the radio side of things. Coming up next,